2.
All right. All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello again.
And thank you again for coming on and watching us. If you're watching us live, let us know in the comments. If you catch the replay, let us know as well. Let us know where you're watching us from. We'd like to see and say hi, of course, and make sure we're answering your questions. So yeah, I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas if you celebrated
Merry
yesterday.
Christmas.
And I know this last week of the year is usually kind of
Yeah, it gets a little hectic. Yeah, it gets a little hectic and a little, everything's like a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Your mind's all over the place. So
Yeah,
it's kind
all
of
the
hard
days.
to concentrate.
Yeah. They just like blur together.
Oh
I was like,
my
I had to
gosh.
remind myself today's Thursday, so we need to do
Yeah.
Ask and Tech. So I hope you guys all had an awesome, happy Merry Christmas. And today's topic is we're going to be talking about duct cleaning versus duct repairing. And if you want to get a really, I guess, a more in-depth information for you to read, you can check out our blog post that we had last Wednesday. It was in our Wisdom Wednesday post on our Facebook page. So if you go through our feed, you can find that post and click on the link, and you can read all about what we're going to be talking about today, plus even more really helpful information if you're more of a reader and not so much watching a video. So just want to make sure you guys are aware that that's available to you as well. So yeah, ready?
Yeah.
Get into it?
Sure. Let's get into it.
Okay, so like I said, the topic is duct cleaning versus replacing.
Yeah.
So I guess to kind of start off is what is duct cleaning? Like what is it?
Well, actually, what it implies really, it's pretty much cleaning the inside of your ducts, and for most residential systems, I'm not sure that that's something that's necessary that much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are legitimate reasons for you to clean your ducts, but in order to be sure that that's really what you need, I mean, you got to check out your ductwork. I had somebody check out the inside of your ductwork really well, because the only legitimate reasons that I think, and with our experience, we've done so many duct change outs and even 20-year-old ducts that we pulled out. When you look at the inside, I mean, there was never any reason for having to clean that out. And I know there are a lot of companies out there that advertise duct cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
and again, some of it is legitimate. There's a couple of reasons, like I said, that would be you would legitimately need duct cleaning, and that's if somebody has spotted mold or some kind of traces or possibility of mold. We do have, we're in a rural area, and if you're living in a rural area, or sometimes not always just a rural area, if you have any issue with rodents, because rodents can get out in this area, we're in Southern California,
Mm-hmm.
and we use a lot of what they call flex ductwork, and that's, especially on these cold days, rodents feel that warm air, and they're trying to get inside the ductwork and that type of thing, and if they start chewing that ductwork up, or nesting inside of it, now you've got all these things, these germs and everything inside.
Mm-hmm.
So those are legitimate reasons, or an improperly installed system that's been running for years will tend to, suck in or draw in dirt and dust and all kinds of stuff, and it'll get trapped. If it doesn't get trapped in your unit itself, it can get trapped in the evaporator coil, which is another component of your system. And once, or if it leaves the evaporator coil, obviously it can get stuck in your ductwork.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for the most part, the last part anyway, where dust and everything can collect in the ductwork, it's not really a health issue, believe it or not. Even the EPA says that. Unless you have allergies, so you have somebody that suffers from asthma, then it's a serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those are the only legitimate reasons that I can say, and actually the EPA says the same, for you to actually need to clean your ductwork. Or there's some older systems too that have been running for years and years with either improperly sized filter or they've been running without a filter. We get those calls where we go out there and I ask them, well, where's your filter? And I said, what filter?
Yeah,
You know, all those things. And then you go, oh boy, now I know there's problems. So, you know, unless it's been running for a long time without a filter like that, then you do get a lot of dirt and a lot of stuff trapped in the system. And by that time, maybe duct cleaning, since the system's so old or the ductwork is so old, may not be the best option, because what you're going to spend for duct cleaning, and that's not a service we provide, so I'm not, you know, try to sell anything or whatever. So it's not but for what they charge you to do a proper duct cleaning, you might want to consider replacing the ductwork. Ductwork that's that old, usually it's inefficient. The resistant value, the insulation value of the ductwork is probably worn out by then, and maybe you're better off replacing it with a higher R value ductwork. That's gonna, in the long run, it's gonna save you money, because it doesn't waste as much energy into your attic and stuff like that. So yeah.
So what's the R value? What does that mean?
Well, R stands for resistance to. Here I go again.
It's okay. It's that time of year.
It's that time of year. I've always got an excuse. You know? It's never that I'm too old, right? I'm an old man and I'm got a lot of the, I don't know, anyway, brain farts.
Yeah.
But it's the ability of material to resist heat to transfer.
Okay.
That's the best one.
Okay.
So the higher your R rating, the more resistant it is to heat transfer. So the better, the cooler or warmer it can keep whether you're cooling or you're heating at that time. So
it's kind of like better insulated, I guess.
Better insulated. That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So actually, you know, in residential stuff, like I said, I haven't run into too many in 41 years that I've been doing this. I haven't run into too many homes or systems where I thought that duct cleaning was needed. And the ones that I did run into, like I said, there were systems that had been run without an air filter for Lord knows how long, and it was ductwork that was, not only was it filthy inside, but it was literally just falling apart. So at that point, you know, it's time to replace it. The only time that I've seen in our experience, where we've seen that ductwork is absolutely necessary, is on commercial units. Because commercial units, and maybe now in newer units if they're not installed properly, but let me start with commercial units. All commercial units draw in outside air, what they call fresh air, and because of that, they're prone to draw in dust and all kinds of different particles that are going to get dirty. Now again, it all stems from bad design. If the design or the installation is not done properly, well, a lot of that dirty air can get past your filter and then into the system, and then goes right into the duct, and that's where then you will need duct cleaning. Actually, commercial applications, they do require duct cleaning every so often, at least every 3-4 years, something like that. And that would be it. And then newer systems, because in the state of California, I think that's going to go federal too. Now we're required to add new installations anyway, fresh air, because the homes are, I think we talked about this the last time too, the homes are being built so tight now so you don't lose any energy to the outside, that now you need fresh air, because you know you're enclosed, and a lot of times inside of your home, the air outside of your home is better than the air inside of your home, because you know everything, you know, your floors, all the chemicals that are in your floors, your paints, everything like that. So indoor air quality, to make sure that indoor air quality is good, they're required to bring in fresh air. Again, it has to do a lot with installation. If the system, a proper system is not installed, you're going to be pulling dirty air into your system. But you know, a proper inspection from any reputable company, you'd be able to tell whether you genuinely need air cleaning. But I did, for the most part, you probably don't.
Yeah. And on top of that too, because if you're saying like that's usually if there's dirty air getting drawn into your system, duct cleaning is only cleaning your ductwork.
Yes.
So if there's dirt getting into the equipment, getting your ducts clean is not going to do anything for that. Pretty much, right?
That's another part of that, because although there are a lot of legitimate companies out there that offer duct cleaning and for legitimate reasons. But if all they're offering is said we're going to clean your ducts and your vents without checking the rest of your equipment, then they're not providing the service that you need. Because if it's in your ductwork, more than likely it's in your equipment. So it's a complete system cleaning is really what it should be done. Not just a ductwork. Because if it got as far as getting into your ductwork, that means it went through your whole system already, and chances of your system being dirty are pretty.
Yeah, it's like pretty much implied.
It's a done deal. It's a no-brainer there, but yeah.
And that's where maintenance comes in too, right? Because if you're having it maintained, you'll be able to catch if it's getting dirty or anything like that.
A good maintenance inspection, we'd be able, or any company would be able to tell if there's issues with air leakage, where you're pulling air from areas that you shouldn't be pulling air from. And again, it's a simple inspection. You can take a look at that, and they might be able to tell and offer options or solutions, I should say. Solutions to whatever your issue is, because everything may be different.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the next part of that is that like there's different reasons why you might think you would need duct cleaning, or you might be considering getting your ducts clean. I know some of the stuff you mentioned is basically dirty air somehow getting into your system, or like rodents and and mold and that kind of stuff. But if that's getting into your ducts, then you probably have a lot bigger problem than just your ducts are dirty.
Exactly. Yeah, and again, and most of the time it has to do with installation issues, and it has to do with the fact that maybe your duct system was not sealed properly, so you started to pull things. You're pulling air from areas that you shouldn't be pulling air from. And that's common in homes that were built like in the 70s and 80s. And a lot of those homes they use what we call the return air, which is where the system is pulling air to blow through either your furnace and your coil. They use a lot of wall cavities as a return air chamber, and a lot of times those wall cavities are not sealed, so you're pulling air from all over the place. And those areas,
where the air, the dirty air.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be done like that. It was allowed in those days, and now tougher regulations now, which are good. I mean, regulations are good for the consumer because it assures that the companies that are doing the installation do everything the way it's supposed to be done. So back then, regulations weren't as strict. So people were getting away with things that they shouldn't have been getting away with. And then, now you have a system that's 10, 15, 20 years old that has a lot more issues than just it's not working anymore, you want to upgrade it. And then there's other issues that should be fixed so your immune system works efficiently and it doesn't cause any problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know. I was just seeing we have some people commenting, so I want to see. So there's Robert again.
Hi, Robert. How you doing?
Hi, Robert. Thanks for tuning in again. You can always count on him to be here.
Yeah.
And then Amanda had a question there too. It says, "What about mobile homes with floor registers?"
Well, that is a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. That I guess that would be one of the other exceptions. Only because mobile homes, all their ductwork is in the floor joists, and all the registers are on the floor. So chances of stuff getting down into the ductwork, are pretty great. And most of the time there is a lot of stuff in there. That's usually where a lot of people find their kids' toys or car keys or whatever. There's a lot of stuff. Money. Yeah. But again, it's not something that is going to stick to your ductwork or anything like that. And again, since it's on the floor registers, more than likely it's a supply air ductwork, so it's on positive pressure. So it's not going to suck anything into your system. And that's something that even a homeowner can themselves take the register off and put their vacuum down there and clean that out. You wouldn't have to hire a company that's going to charge you a lot of money to come and do something that you can do yourself.
Oh,
I wouldn't, yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. What happens is, again, there are companies that do this, that provide this service that is legitimate, but there are a lot of companies out there that try to sometimes scare you into having your ducts clean, talking about health issues or all this,
Right.
or all these allergens that are in your ductwork. But you know, I encourage you to go to the EPA website, and even EPA will say that. And I can read you exactly what it says. Duct cleaning has never shown to actually prevent health problems. So if somebody's telling you that you need to clean your ducts because it's unhealthy, this is the EPA saying it. It's not me saying it. And that says a lot of stuff. There's a lot of good information there. And I felt good looking it up because this is something that I again, if you guys that have been following us a little bit, I've been in the industry for 41 years, and this is something that I had never been real comfortable or real, I don't know, I just didn't think it was necessary on residential units, cleaning systems, and I always thought, well, maybe I'm missing something. Well, now I'm reading that the EPA says, you know, there's really no value unless, again, the issues that I was talking about, mold, rodents, and those types of things, I mean, obvious. And like, you know, Robert Aguirre that's out there in the East Coast in Virginia, I mean, they have really big issues with humidity. So those things are really something that a legitimate consideration. And that's where a company like theirs, which does a really good job, they can inspect your system, your ducts, and see if there's any mold issues. But usually, I mean, we're out here in Southern California. It's more desert than anything. And we usually don't have a lot of humidity issues or moisture issues. And our mold issues aren't that significant when it comes to air conditioning and air distribution of the ductwork. Mold issues that we have out here usually have to do with something with the plumbing or anything like that. But air conditioning, most of the time, there's no issues. So that'll be the thing. But rodents, we do. And if you have somebody that's very sensitive to the allergens, like, you know, my son, he has asthma, so that type of thing. So yeah, those things you might want to consider.
And I guess too, to throw in with the whole rodent thing, is that if you do end up seeing, I guess, having rodent issues or holes or stuff happening with your ductwork because of rodents, the rodent issue should definitely be addressed before you even start considering.
Yeah, because again, ductwork, they make ductwork better now, but it's still flex ductwork, the one primarily what we use out here in Southern California, and they can get through that. Even if it's got the big, thick insulation, larger R rating, they can still chew through that. So if you do have ductwork that's been chewed by rodents and they're inhabited, then it's time, you got to take care of the rodent problem first before you consider, and I would replace it. We've done quite a few of those, you know, because the odor and everything, you just can't get rid of it properly. And you don't want to be breathing all that stuff because, you know, there's rodent feces and everything in the ductwork, and there's no way anybody can properly clean that. And again, there are some companies too that'll tell you that they're going to spray with certain chemicals and that type of thing that's going to take care of bacteria and all those kinds of things. Again, go to the EPA website and you'll read there that it says the EPA has not approved any chemicals that can be used on the inside of your ductwork.
Ooh.
So if they're claiming, you know, they're going to do this and that, the EPA says don't do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they may be legitimately trying to do something good for you, but it's not something that is approved by the EPA or recommended by them, for that matter.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. That's another.
Maybe you can show me the link that you have, and I can link it onto the description for this later.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Well, yeah.
For the, I mean, I guess like something. If there's, we'll look for like a FAQs or something and put that on there.
Yeah. And go to EPA.gov, and then look under indoor air quality, and then freaking FAQ. Okay. And one of them is do I need to clean my ductwork? And there's a lot of information in there. It's a lot of good information. Again, I was so happy to see that everything that I had been preaching, if you will, for this many years, that it was all confirmed right there by the EPA. So it doesn't say that there aren't legitimate reasons, but most of the reasons, they don't exist. So don't let people talk you into thinking that you need to clean your ductworks when in fact you don't. Look into other means. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, we got another question. It says, does cleaning or replacing the ducts help with allergies?
Again, a good inspection of your ductwork or would determine whether you need to either clean or replace your ductwork. Again, I reiterate, in 41 years that I've been doing this, I've seen very few systems where they actually needed duct cleaning, and the ones that did, by the time, I mean, there were like 20, 25-year-old systems where they were better off replacing the ductwork. And again, for those people that are sensitive, that suffer from asthma or severe allergies, yeah, it does. It does help, because there's, any type of small particles that are in the air are going to affect anybody that's sensitive to allergens or has asthma or COPD, any of those things. Again, those are legitimate reasons. But for the most part, I would say, if you have a duct system that's old enough that it needs to be cleaned, you should consider maybe replacing it.
Yeah, and even the duct, or kind of like how you were saying earlier too, is that if there's allergens getting into the ductwork in the first place, that's probably something to address.
Exactly. It's an installation issue, so that has to be addressed as well. You can't just clean it or replace it. Take care of the problem as well.
Yeah, the root.
Because you're going to have the same issue with the newly cleaned ducts or with your brand new ducts if you didn't take care of the problem.
Oh, so what would be, I guess, common reasons why people should be looking to replace their ductwork that you've seen?
The main one I would say is duct leakage. There is some ductwork, and again, here in Southern California, the flex ductwork. There's some ductwork, and you may be able to, if you feel like it, go up in your attic and see. And there's some ductwork that was manufactured in the 80s, and was installed in the late 80s and early 90s. It's a flexible ductwork, and it's got a gray liner on the outside. That ductwork was, for lack of a better word, was defective. It just didn't last long. And that really starts falling apart, the outside liner, which holds your insulation on. Flex ductwork is made up of an inside liner that carries the air into your room. Then it's got an insulation cover over it. And then it's got an outside liner that keeps the insulation on the ductwork. Once that outside liner breaks down and no longer can hold that insulation in, your insulation value is gone. And then the inside liner, since it's plastic, because of the heat up in the attic, it starts falling apart as well. Well, that's a legitimate time or legitimate reason for considering replacing your ductwork, because most of your energy, most of your cool air or your warm air, you're losing it to your attic. So that would be a great time to replace your ductwork. Again, an inspection from a legitimate company would be able to determine what would be your best option.
Okay. What about, let's see, we got another one. Do you think UV lights are worth the money?
That's a great question. There are a lot of companies out there that are suggesting or offering as an accessory UV lights, and then the probably quote or use examples how UV lights are used in hospitals to kill bacteria and all that on surfaces. All that is true. The problem is using UV lights to try to disinfect air is a lot more difficult to accomplish, because a UV light, whatever surface it hits, it is going to disinfect. But air is passing through that UV light so fast that it's not going to give it enough exposure to that UV light to clean the air. Now, anything else that UV light is hitting will have that effect, that cleaning effect. It'll kill any bacteria on the coil. If the UV light is on the evaporator coil, it'll kill any bacteria that's on there. But if it's the air that you're trying to clean, UV lights are not effective.
So you'll
I'm
have
sorry.
a you'll have
And I'm
a
gonna
disinfected coil and
yes, we'll have a nice clean coil. The drain pan will have no mold or anything on it. But I know I'm gonna get a lot of companies mad at me. But that is the truth, and it's been proven. So. Yeah.
well, I know
okay.
that's
Sorry, Robert.
CDC.
So I think if you're really trying to clean the air, you should consider some products that some manufacturers make, a whole house air purification system. And again, it all has to do with design because some of these air purification systems restrict a lot of airflow. So proper design of the system, so to take into consideration the pressure drop across that, so it doesn't affect the airflow to your living area. It'll work really, really well. I mean, I hate to, I don't. We're trained dealers. Train makes a system that really, really meets those needs. And we've had very, very good feedback from customers that have asked for that we've installed it for them. People with allergies, asthma, that type of thing. It really does do the job. But it's a different system. It's not a UV light. It's a design that's patented by Train. It's the only one that we feel works the best.
To actually clean clean the air. Yeah.
It's got almost 100% clean air delivery rate, which means any air that passes through it, it's almost 100% clean as it goes on the other side.
Okay.
And you can't. Yeah, it's a really, really nice system. I really like it. So. What else?
Okay, let's see. I don't have any questions there, but let me see what other stuff I have in here to talk about. What about repairing duct?
There's some, again, if it's ductwork that's a gray line flex ductwork, forget it. Because and I learned that the hard way, because when we first started running into that type of ductwork where it was falling apart, I said, oh yeah, we can repair it. And what happens is you can repair one piece and then the next piece will start falling apart. So once it starts falling apart, you're done. You have to replace it. But other than that type of ductwork, other ductwork can be repaired, and that happens a lot when again, bad installation practices. People kinked it, or it got cut, or whatever. Yeah, duct repairs are definitely a good option for when that's needed. It's I hate to keep saying the same thing, but a good, thorough inspection by a good, reputable company will be able to, we would be able to tell, or they would be able to tell what your needs are as far as your ductwork goes. They'll be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know this and that, and that's, and offer you some options to see what you would like to do. Yeah, repairs will work.
Yes, yeah, I don't know, because we don't get a lot of
No,
people. Usually when people end up having like holes or like big duct issues, it's falling apart or like rats got into it. That's I think the biggest one, especially with the rats or with the cold season, rainy season, the ducts start, or all the rats run to the duct or it's warm or in the attic and.
We do get calls once in a while. We're saying, yeah, I'm not getting any airflow to the back bedroom or the such and such bedroom, the living room or whatever. And we come out there and the first thing we ask is, has a cable guy been here? And sure enough, you kick duct apart, or they couldn't fit through a certain tight area, so they lay it on the duct. And flexible duct, it's flexible to a point.
Yeah.
Once you get a lot of weight on it, it's gonna kink a lot, and to the point where you can't really fix it anymore. So yeah, replace that piece of ductwork, and you're set.
Cool. All right, got another question from Gina. She says, "Is it safe to sleep with my heater on?"
Oh, that's a good question. It's funny because we do get a lot of people that are concerned. I know a lot of people that turn their heater off at night because they're afraid. Again, everything has to do with the installation, but 100% of the heaters that are installed are if installed properly, will operate safely. Newer heaters, anything that's 15 years or newer, have a lot of safety switches in there to prevent anything from happening. There's the only thing that they do not have is a carbon monoxide detector. But I really recommend that if you don't have a carbon monoxide detector in your home, to install one. But they do have safety switches where if carbon monoxide is back flowing somehow, it's a temperature safety switch that'll turn the gas off immediately. Now, even if that happened, most forced air heating units are completely sealed. That area is completely sealed from the circulating area, so you don't have a concern. You shouldn't have a concern about carbon monoxide with any unit that's been built. Let's say 50, maybe even 20 years or so. Fires, I would not worry about anything because, again, the panels, as long as the panels are on in the unit, it's got a lot of safety switches that if anything, even remote, there's a remote chance that the fire might come out of that system, it shuts it off. So to answer your question, most systems are safe. Again, a thorough inspection from a reputable company will determine that, and those are some of the things that we look for all the time to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
Safety first, always safety first.
And I think that's key too, is like if you're having your system maintained, then you really don't have, if you're having it maintained by, like you're saying, a reputable company that's doing a thorough inspection on it, it should operate the way it's designed to, and they're designed so that, you can be comfortable at night too, because that's when it's the coldest.
I feel bad when there's some people, especially some older homes, older people. We live, again, Southern California, and Sun City is our community where we got beautiful customers that we love, and there's a lot of older, retired people that are afraid sometimes to use their system at night. And it's like, well, have it checked out, and you don't have anything to worry about, so you don't freeze at night.
Yeah, and then carbon monoxide detectors, you could pick those up at like Lowe's or something. It's pretty simple a simple way to, give you that peace of mind.
Yes.
And not that hard to get for yourself.
They're easy. It's put the battery, I don't even think you need a battery. Just get them and plug them on your receptacle in the hall or anywhere near a gas appliance. I wouldn't put them too close to the kitchen, because a lot of times your oven or your stove top, there's some carbon monoxide. You don't want that thing going off and scaring you all the time, but there's a certain amount. But over by any other appliance, like your water heater or your forced air heater, put them there. If there's any issues, it'll let you know.
She has another question. It says, is that an annual inspection before each winter? So yes. So we would say you should have you should basically have 2 inspections every year. You should have one for your heating equipment before we get into the cold months, so like in the fall, and then in the springtime before you're using your air conditioning equipment. So but yeah, that would basically be an annual inspection that you would have on your heating equipment to make sure that everything's working the way it should, and if there is any cause for concern or the beginnings of something breaking down where it'd be a safety issue, you could catch it before it becomes a real problem.
And for example, when we do an inspection, and the only issue with inspecting your air conditioning unit is it's for efficiency, so we want to do that. The only one that's a safety issue is usually your heater,
right?
And we carry carbon monoxide detectors with us all the time. So if there's anyway, because carbon monoxide is an odorless and colorless gas, so you're not going to smell it, and you're not going to see it, obviously. But a carbon monoxide detector will warn you when it's an unsafe amount of carbon monoxide in the air. So you will go, and any of our guys that do those type of inspections carry a carbon monoxide detector, and they do. That's part of the inspection to make sure that everything's burning the way it's supposed to be burning. So you don't have to be worried about that.
Yeah. Yeah, Amanda, we sell them too. That's right. You can get one from us. We'll be happy to provide one for you guys. Give you that peace of mind. Okay, let me see. There was another question I think we missed.
Did we miss another question?
From Robert. Do you think humidifiers are worth it for a heat pump?
Again, that's one of those issues, the indoor air quality issues, right? We're talking about that high efficiency filtering system for people that have asthma, COPD, or that. So those are special needs type of thing. But I would say, in general, for most people out here, we're in the desert, and usually we're used to the dry heat, and in the winter time, not a lot of humidity. But there are those people that need warm, humid air during the winter months, or they get nosebleeds or anything like that. So for those people, I definitely, whether it's heat pump or gas-fired furnace, yeah, for those people that have issues with humidity during the winter times, yeah, a humidifier is highly recommended. Yeah,
That's kind of more like a case by case.
it's a case by case,
depending on
yeah.
what you need, like each person would need,
Yeah.
type of thing.
And again, you're only going to find that out if you're asking questions. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
you ask your. I mean, that's provide a good service. Ask your customer the questions, what their needs are, what their comfort needs are, and they'll be able to tell you. And that way, you can determine whether they would need something like that. Because those are all accessories. Not every system should have one, but definitely where it's needed, it's good.
Yeah, beneficial.
Very beneficial. Yeah.
Alright, let me just double check, see if we missed any other questions. Gina asked if we install ceiling fans too.
Oh.
So, no, we don't install ceiling fans, but we install whole house fans. I don't know if that's...
Yeah. See, we hold a C20 license, which is heating, air conditioning, and ventilation, or ventilating. Ceiling fans are considered part of the electrical system, so you need an electrician's license really to be doing that type of work, to be installing those. So it doesn't fall under our scope of work or what we're licensed to do. I mean, we can do it, and our guys are knowledgeable enough to do that. But as a service provided to the public, in order for the public to be protected, we don't have a electrician's license. Sorry. We'd love to help you.
Yeah, I was like, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I almost accidentally ended this. Sorry, guys. My finger touched the finish button. Okay. Okay, let's see. Do you use combustion analyzers for fall services to check heat exchangers, and are they worth the money?
Ooh, oh my God.
I have never even heard of a combustion analyzer.
Well, it's become a big deal now, especially here we're in the AQMD, Air Quality Management District, and there's new regulations, I was going to say restrictions, but regulations to anybody that's in the Air Quality Management District. The new furnaces, as of October 1st, we have to install, if it's a gas-fired furnace, it has to be what they call an ultra low NOx furnace. And it has more to do with emissions, how much smog they put out. And for that, you definitely, part of the commissioning, the startup, and to make sure that that furnace is working properly, you do have to have a combustion analyzer to make sure that the flame, everything is burning exactly the way it's supposed to be burning, because these new furnaces run a lot hotter. So it is a safety issue. It's something that should be done from here on any new furnace. It is something that should be good practice anyway. It's a service that should be provided, and yeah, it should be done. It should be done.
So what do you mean by it runs hotter? What does that mean?
The design. Let me see. I don't want to get too technical because then I bore everybody, right? In order for it to emit less nitric oxide, which is the byproduct of burning gas, along with carbon dioxide and all this other stuff, it has to run hotter. The hotter it runs, the less amount of nitric oxides it's able to emit. So for that reason, you will no longer see furnaces with 4 burners or as many burners. You know, you look at your furnace, and most of them have at least 4 burners, the smaller ones 2. And there's some that have like 6 or 8 across. Again, I'm talking typical Southern California, especially AQMD. You're not going to see those if you're in the AQMD in that district. Now it's like a single, it's like a blowtorch. If you will.
Wow.
Yeah. So they run really, really hot, and it's very, very important to make sure that you have a combustion analyzer to make sure that flame is burning the way it's supposed to be burning, that it's a right amount of air mixture along with gas with fuel, and what it emits, the combustion analyzer measures that and tells you it's burning exactly the way it's supposed to burn. Because if it's burning too lean, it might be too hot. If it's burning too rich, then it's polluting, then it's actually, creating soot inside. There's a lot of different issues with that. So yeah, it has to be right on dialed in. Right on.
Well, dang it. I never even heard about that. That's really interesting.
Well, that's I mean, it's always been there, but now, with the new regulations here, it's really on the top of everybody's mind right now, and you really have to do that.
But with a heat pump system, that's not something you would. Is that something you would still worry about, or how would that apply to a heat pump?
Yeah, that's a good question. Heat pumps are different. They're not a fuel burning system in order to heat your home. What they do is they use refrigerant. It works like a air conditioner in reverse. When your air conditioner is cooling the inside of your house, it's actually blowing really hot air to the outside of your. I'm choking here. So a heat pump does exactly the opposite of that during the cold months. It's blowing cold air outside, and the warm air is warming your house up. So there's no burning or anything. It's just moving motors and using hot and cold refrigerant to heat your house.
Okay.
That's a oversimplified way of saying it.
Right.
Because, I start getting technical now. But yeah, and I think that's a better option. We feel anyway here, because Steve Heating and Air Conditioning, we feel that heat pumps right now are a better option because the efficiency is so much higher that they don't use as much electricity as you may think they do.
Mm-hmm.
Compare if you're in an area that uses propane, it's really a no-brainer. It'll be cheaper to heat with a heat pump than it would be with propane. And in some areas where you're heating with natural gas, our winters here in the area that we are, again, Southern California, in the Menifee area, Temecula Valley, our winters are so mild that the amount of the cost to use heat pump, the electricity, compared to natural gas, it's minimal. There's a calculator that we use, and on an average, you're looking at maybe $50 to $100 a year more, and that's with a standard efficiency. If you go into a higher efficiency just to the next year, you're actually going to be saving money.
Oh yeah.
That's how efficient heat pumps are being built now, and since the state of California is working towards what they call electrification, so they're trying to do away with any fuel burning appliances or anything like that to reduce the carbon footprint of everybody. That would be the ideal way to go, and then solar. That's really what California is pushing, to go solar and go with a heat pump for heating and air conditioning. I'm excited about it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
'Cause, like Gina was asking earlier, is it okay to turn my furnace on at night? And, that gives people peace of mind. You don't have to worry about anything because there's nothing burning.
Right.
There's no pilot. There's no fire. You can sleep. Well, turn it up to 80 if you want. I'll turn it up to 80. But you know what I mean. You can be as comfortable as you want without having to worry about anything, carbon monoxide or fires or anything like that. I think it's a really good option. I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Robert?
Yeah, and then he has another one. What about the mini splits out there?
Ooh, mini splits. I don't know how many of you out there are familiar with mini splits, but it's a same type of, it uses the heat pump system, but it's, let me see, how can I explain this? It is they're called ductless mini splits, even though they have some applications where you can actually duct it as well. But it's a lot more efficient because the unit that's heating and cooling is really in the condition area. Some of you might have seen it maybe at stores and maybe apartments, or sometimes at hotels they have them. You'll see it mounted up on the wall, or some of them are hidden in the ceiling and that type of thing. And that's a very, very efficient way of heating and cooling your home because it's automatically zoned. which means, the rooms that you're not in or you're not using are not being heated or cooled, when they're not needed, and you're only heating and cooling the rooms where you are, where it's needed. So it's a very efficient system. It's a system that's been proven. I mean, they use them in Europe. They've been using them in Europe and Asia for years and years and years. Now they're becoming more popular here in the States, and I'm glad they are, because they are a more efficient way of heating and cooling your home, and you're a lot more comfortable. They're super, super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I know, we started talking, kind of starting out talking about ductwork and everything. And then with these, but no, I was just thinking, like, in relation to all of that, because you're having all these issues with duct and stuff, and with these mini splits where you're saying you have it, directly in there, you don't even have to worry about it.
Get rid of all those issues. You don't have to worry about R-rating of your ductwork. You don't have to worry about rodents eating through your duct. You don't have to worry about cleaning your ductwork or allergens or anything like that. So yeah, there are huge advantages to installing mini splits. Right now, they cost a little bit more than conventional heating and air conditioning systems, but in the long run, they're well worth it because of the amount of money that you save on energy costs. It's just incredible. Yeah, I like them a lot. Thanks, Robert. You're asking all the good questions.
Yeah, he's asking good ones. Okay, do you know what time
I think we're way over. Wow, we're way over. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's good. Well, people are asking questions, so that was a big part of it. So thank you. Who was it? Gina, Robert, and I believe Amanda for asking questions. And we're here to. That's what this is all about, anyway. So I just want to double check we didn't miss anything.
Any questions? Yeah.
We did.
Okay, I saw somebody. This is from have to replace.
No dust, no allergies. So I'm not sure what you meant by that. So if you want to clarify, we can get back to you maybe on the next episode.
That's it, Julian and Candy.
And he said, what about them Cowboys, cousin?
Oh my gosh. You want me to cry in live Facebook here, man, or Facebook Live? Oh my gosh, dude. What is wrong with you? I thought you liked me, cousin. What's up?
Okay, so yeah, we're going to wrap it up. We went way longer than we were originally planning, but that's okay. We're answering your questions. So if you guys have more questions, you can put them in the comments. We'll make sure we answer them the next time we do this, which would be next Thursday, 5 o'clock, as usual.
Yes.
And thanks again, you guys, for coming on and watching with us. We're with, I don't know if we've said this, but it's on our page that we're Castillo Heating and Air, where every job is a work of art. So we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.